midterm 1 is completed, and the experience for a university first year midterm can be widely varying. Some people, adapt to it faster than others, and for some it's like a cold splash of water on your face followed by a punch in the gut, where it's like, oh my gosh, where'd all that come from? And oh wow, is the pacing ever quick? And I warned about the up tempo nature, but sometimes I can say it's up tempo, but until you actually see it, you don't really may perhaps understand what that means. Okay, so we had our first midterm. Perhaps if it didn't go as expected, that's fine. Doesn't mean it's necessarily time to panic. Doesn't mean you got to drop the class. I think if you got 40% or above, you're actually not in danger of failing the class. Okay, if you're under 40, then perhaps you're at maybe a little bit of element of risk, depending on how the next midterm goes. Okay, so midterm 1. We started with midterm 1, and midterm 1 is on the course outline, as you can see, is initially worth 17.5%. Now, if midterm 2 turns out better for you than midterm 1, and the converse is true. If you did really well in midterm 1 and then you had a bumpy experience in midterm number 2, this also applies to you. If midterm 1 is better than midterm 2, just to keep with the example, I will take half the value of midterm 1, 8.75%, right? And that'll go on to the better midterm, which presumably it will be midterm 2, and the final exam on a prorated basis. By prorated, I mean about 5 percentage points of that 8.75% will go to the final, and 3.75% would go to midterm number 2. Conversely, or also, if you did well in midterm number 2 and midterm number 1, if you do less well in midterm number 2 than midterm number 1, this also applies to you. Everybody wins by this, or is better off than the course outline, unless the final is your worst exam, which would then we would refer back to the parameters set in the course outline, and you're no worse off. So that's good. So we take the sting. So really that bad midterm is now only worth 8.75%. Okay, well that's not so bad, right? Now further, you'll notice that if you're in the online, you have online participation assignments, and if you're in the in-person, you have the stock presentation. Do an extra one of those. So if you're online, you do an extra posting, just following the same parameters as the online participation assignment is. Or if you're in person, do another stock presentation, and that gets you a 2% bonus on your final grade. Okay, you compensate for that, and now that bad midterm is really only worth a little 6.75%. Okay. So you take one bad experience, and now it's just going to cost you 6.75%. Now, the difference, to be quite honest with you, the difference between someone who got 90% and someone who got 30% when it's a 6.75% exam is about 3 points, right? Ish, maybe 4 points, right? So it's not huge. Yeah, it's something, but it's not the end of the world something. And I have had a couple of students who have actually failed midterm number 1 and still gotten an A at the end of the class. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean that all is bad. The key, however, is to do all the work. This class depends on effort to pass, and then on performance to get a very high grade. So to pass, do the My Math Lab assignments. There's 12 of them. Don't miss any of them, right? They're each worth 2 percentage points each, right? That you missed 2 assignments, and that is a worse impact than just a total disaster of a midterm. Also, there's the group project. That's worth 7%. And like My Math Lab, it also has high class averages, so high averages on that. So those are, really marks boosters. Same thing with the participation assignment. Don't not do those. That's 5%. That's just a gift, okay? And especially when you do the extra one, you're getting 7% out of 5. Right? Whoa, it's win-win all around. Okay, so there is a way out of one bad midterm. If that midterm is not indicative of your performance, it's not really going to have a large impact on your final grade. Okay, so if you have any questions about anything I've just said, please feel free to drop me an email. But just rest assured, it's one bad midterm doesn't kill you here. Okay, there is a solution to take the sting out of a single bad midterm. Okay, take care.